Thank you so much for listening to The Little Carnival. This week we are talking about TLC's reality show, Seeking Sister Wife. We have some takes, we have some loves, and we have some hates. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show.
Come one, come all. Step right up to The Little Carnival. If you love to hate the reality TV shows on the TLC network, get it? TLC, The Little Carnival? Then this is the podcast for you. And now, your hosts, stars of the Ugly Truth podcast, it's the Uggs.
Welcome to The Little Carnival, where Paula and I discuss one of TLC's heinous reality television shows for 15 minutes. This week, we are talking about Seeking Sister Wife. Yes, another polygamy show. Another one. This one's interesting, though, Paula, because I know you haven't seen an episode. The show basically profiles 4 families seeking either a second or third wife.
4?
Yes.
Jesus.
So there is the McGee's. They are in Mississippi or Missouri. It doesn't matter. They are not religious.
So they're not all in like Utah or something.
No, they're in Missouri, or like I said, I think it's Mississippi or Missouri. The MS one, whichever one that is.
Okay.
Whatever they live in Branson. So wherever that is, that Missouri. There you go. So they're in Missouri. They have 2 children, and they're a monogamous couple currently. But at some point, she received a quote unquote calling that God wants her to pick up another wife. Okay. She had to convince her husband that this is something they needed to do. He was like, I don't understand. So now he's all on board. And it took a couple of years for him to do it. So now they're actively seeking a second wife. They're with no religious basis other than she said God told her she had to do this.
That's weird.
It is weird. Then there's the Aldridges, which were on last season. This is the second season now. Now, they are religious. They are polygamists. He has 2 wives, and they are seeking a third wife. And they've been trying to seek a third wife for quite some time. They have like 12 kids. I mean, they're like all in on the polygamy thing. And I believe they live in like Wyoming or something.
Are wives like difficult to procure or something? Or
yes. Now, I cannot remember the third couple. They are in Utah. They are actively breaking the law, and they're very young. They're like in their 20s. And so he just married a girl who was raised in the polygamy life. Her brother is anti-polygamy, and he is disgusted with her choice. Her mother, who has 3 teeth in her face, is super proud of her daughter for going along with the polygamy thing, thinking that she'll be blessed a million times over. Now, the first wife was a Mormon and then was convinced by her husband that they needed to be super hardcore
fundamentalists,
Mormon,
right?
Fundamentalists. And so now they have one little girl who's like 2, and now they've got this other girl. It's weird though, because they're like my kids' age. They're like 24, 25-year-olds, all, whatever, doing this life. It's very weird to me.
That is weird.
Yeah. Now the fourth is the Snowdens. They originally were in Georgia. They are an African-American couple. They are not real.
That's unique, actually. You don't hear too much about African Americans becoming polygamous
in America, but it is not an uncommon in certain parts of Africa. It's very common.
Well, actually, outside of the United States, polygamy is pretty common.
In certain countries, polygamy is not an unusual thing.
Right.
So here's the thing, and they're not religious. Like, they're not basing their need for more wives based on a Mormon fundamentalist religion. They are just spiritual. I'm doing air quotes, spiritual. Mm-hmm. And the backstory on him, though, on Demetrius, is that he is an orphan. He doesn't know his family. He was in the foster care system. So now he's educated, very successful in the IT world. And he met his wife through his work. And he wants as many children as possible. And he wants his own tribe. And so he wants a sisterhood, he wants wives, he wants the whole thing. And so he is like obsessed with this concept of having a lot of wives and children. And so their spiritual background is based on food. They're very, very vegan and very strict about what they put in their body, because they feel like the food they take in is the connection between heart, soul, and mind. She wears a little dot on her head, which doesn't signify anything religious. She just does it.
So do they just make up shit?
I think they're kind of cobbling together their belief system. And they have tried, and of course, because men are men, the first go round, he immediately screwed the girl who was like 23. And so the wife...
He had sex with her?
So the wife put the kibosh on that and said, she's not for us. And now they have found this other woman, Vanessa, who's beautiful and is not a polygamist or anything, but she was so intrigued by the whole thing. They created, they had a relationship, and now she is living with them, and they've moved to Los Angeles. And all three of them live together in a very lovely home. And this coming weekend, the episode is after a 21-day food detox, she is now finally able to have sex with Demetrius.
Oh, so they hadn't slept together.
No, it was a hard and fast rule that until we know this is the real deal, no intimacy. And Demetrius has been very, very good about that because he actually likes this lady.
He's chomping at the bit to get at her.
Right. And
what a pig.
But they can't have sex because the wife says you can't have sex because we have to pH balance your body so that we don't give each other yeast infections. And so she did this 21-day detox, and now that she's clean, they can share Demetrius.
Don't you think that would actually give you a yeast infection?
I don't know. They want their pHs to be equal or the same. So they ate all the same foods. They drank the same drinks. They wanted to equal. But to me, it's like, yeah, but everybody's makeup is different. I don't see, people process foods differently. We're all like little snowflakes. We all are different, right?
There's not two same vaginas out there.
Right, exactly. So this coming weekend, I'm going to watch and find out if Demetrius actually finally has sex with Vanessa. And does that solidify, because obviously he can't truly marry her, but will she now become part of their little tribe? Her twin sister flew all the way out here to confront and figure out what the hell was going on. She said, you're in a cult. This is ridiculous. You are the baby of the family and you are a princess. And the idea of you thinking that you can share another man with a woman and be satisfied is a joke. I know you better than anybody else. And she was having none of this shit.
Well, she's right.
Yes. And Vanessa was like, oh my God. And of course, Demetrius and his wife are just like, this woman could literally fuck this all up for us. Like, she could literally pack her shit and leave.
Because does not go down. They know that she's right.
So at the end of it, of course, the sister was like, I would never do this. But they clearly seem to genuinely care about her. And she isn't going anywhere, apparently. So all I can do is, keep an eye on it, wish her well, and, be done with. And that's all I can say about it. She just couldn't embrace it, but she was not going to, steal her in the night and make her go to Australia.
Are you kidding me? You guys would come and kidnap my ass.
Oh my
if
God,
that
Paula.
happened.
Oh my God. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? We joke about polygamy, Paula. We don't actually do polygamy. Jeez.
We could try it on for a weekend, but
right? So the Aldridges are the fundamentalists, and they are desperate for a third wife because their religion really they're getting a calling.
Right.
And here's the thing with the Aldridges. The man is really super nice, but he's like 60. His wives are probably in their late 30s, and they're very beautiful women.
What a douchebag.
They have a ton of kids, but they are really religious. They really believe this is their thing. So they're trying desperately to find a third wife. And they have been screwed. The last 2 seasons, they have been utterly screwed by these people. They are trying so hard to wade out of the tiny little pool of people who want to be their wives because they know everybody's related. So they're trying to find new people.
That's gross.
Well, that's exactly why they're trying desperately to get out of the tiny gene pool and to get out and find someone new who's maybe hip to the religion and to the concept of polygamy. And so they just moved to this big, beautiful farm and ranch. They're building a big, beautiful home to house everybody. And they met somebody who lives in New Jersey, this woman. I think they said her name is Jennifer. And so they had been doing months and months of FaceTime and emailing and phone calls. And she talks to the wives and the husband and even the children. So they go all the way to Niagara Falls to meet this lady. And she shows up. They have a lovely interaction. She goes on a date with the man, and then she was going to go on a quote unquote date with the women. She's a nail person. She does nails. She also has fake boobs, and she's a smoker. But somehow she claims that she was raised in the polygamy world. So Suddenly she gets an emergency after the date and has to literally leave the show, and the producers are running after her going, why are you leaving? She goes, I have an emergency, I have to leave. So then they decide, you know what, I'm gonna come out to you guys in Arkansas or Wyoming or wherever you live, and then we'll spend a whole week together and it'll be great. The day her flight's supposed to arrive, they get a text message, quote unquote, from her brother that says, hey, Jennifer had an appendicitis attack. It burst. She's in ICU. I'm really sorry, but obviously she's not going to be making it out to visit you. So they were like, that's weird. And so he calls the hospital and asks to see the status of this woman. They're like, there's no one here by that name. Our ICU is not on the 3rd floor and all this other garbage. Come to realize that maybe she doesn't even have a brother. And that she texted it.
Oh my God. So she just totally dogged him. Why didn't she just be honest?
Because I think she wanted to be on television, honestly. I think she wanted to be on TV and she liked the idea of being a part of it, but she didn't want to go all the way and meet the women and all that garbage.
Why didn't she try 90 Day Fiancé? That's a better way to go about it.
Anything. So anyway, I'm watching this going, have these people never heard of doing a background check?
Yeah, really.
Online? I mean, have you ever even thought about Googling this bitch's name? And what if it's not even her name? Like, there's so many things they should do to
hire
vet.
a PI. I mean, my God.
Right. It's like, you can pay $20 and vet someone in like minutes online. Why aren't these people doing that?
For as much money as they spent in plane tickets going out to Niagara Falls, they could have hired a good PI and just found out all about her.
Right, and immediately gone, oh, this girl has nothing to do with polygamy.
These people are not smart.
It is. So then finally we have the McGees. And like I told you, they're non-religious. She got some weird calling. So they had been courting this woman who came out to visit and stay with them for like a weekend. Mm-hmm. And she was going to go on a date with the husband. So she has a daughter as well. Now, these kids aren't babies. The McGees have a 14-year-old son and a 10-year-old son, and they have to somehow explain to them that mommy and daddy want another wife. The woman that shows up and stays with them has a 13-year-old daughter. And no one's religiously polygamous. Like, this is all just people looking to fill a void. Everybody's saying they feel like they need family. Like, they feel like they need to create some kind of home base. You know what I mean?
Okay, so it's funny you mentioned the McGees because I found an article in People magazine yesterday and I sent it to you and I said, apparently seeking sister wives Bernie and Kristen or Paige McGee were arrested in Mississippi last week on stalking charges. People confirms. Both Paige and Bernie were taken into custody on Friday for stalking her brother, I guess. Paige's brother, Patrick Marble, and his girlfriend by leaving harassing calls on his home, cell, and work phones. Court documents obtained by the outlet and claimed that Bernie confronted Patrick and harassed him. But the thing is they don't say why.
That is so weird. Well, I can tell you this much. Bernie is about the most pussy-whipped pussy man I've ever seen in my life. He does everything this woman says. She is super manipulative. Like, when they had this woman come over after they were leaving to go on their date, the woman, Paige, was so outraged and so hysterical that her husband actually decided to go out on this date that the producer had to stop production and called Bernie and told him to come back to the house. And
I thought that's what she wanted.
Exactly. And so the woman was like, the jealousy is out of control. I don't want to hurt this woman, but I'm worried that this is never going to get better. Like, it will always be this way. And I'm like, yes, bitch, it will always be this way. She doesn't want to share her man. You know, it's one thing to say it sounds like a great lifestyle. It is quite another to allow your man to sleep with other women. And now she's just like, I feel like, why did I do this? And now I feel like he's just going to find someone who fills the needs that I don't provide for him. I'm like, this is your fault. This is all your fault, you stupid woman.
Yeah, that's kind of probably what happens, I would think. Look at freaking Cody Brown. He's got 4 wives. He gets to pick whatever one he wants, you know.
Oh, okay. Our next Little Carnival, we have to talk about the Browns. I'm fully current on the show, and I have so many thoughts. Anyway, so to close, Paige is a poser. She's a smoker, by the way. I saw her cigarettes, but they didn't show her smoking. And now she's backtracking. Now she's saying, I don't want to do this anymore. And the husband's like, well, I want to do this now. So
well, of course he does. He likes the idea of being able to fuck 2 women.
And it doesn't surprise me at all that he's the one that did the confrontation. I think she pulls all the strings. All the strings. She's a bad person.
People are weird.
They are weird. So if you're
especially with no religious foundation for
that's
doing
the problem.
This,
yes, that is my problem with
strange.
this whole thing. So if you're interested, it's called Seeking Sister Wife. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
What would you do if Daryl came up to you and said, I know we have no religious foundation, but I'm thinking about getting a second wife?
Oh, so you wanna fuck other women is what you're saying? Get out of my life. That's exactly what I'm saying. And you're never seeing your children again. And I'll take all your money.
I'd probably just do a big backhand and be like, hopefully that knocks some sense into your stupid head.
And you're never getting laid again. Goodbye. Yeah, okay. All right, well, that's the show. Thank you for listening, everyone. And we will talk to you next time about the Browns.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the greatest show on earth, the Little Carnival Podcast. Subscribe to The Ugly Truth on your favorite podcast player, and you'll never miss a show. Visit thelittlecarnival.com for details.